This is a short video on women's fight for equality, or what the Victorians called the woman question. As a definition, the woman question was invented by the Victorians. Theirs was the first age in which issues of sexual discrimination in politics, employment, education, and family life became the concern of not just a few, but of a whole nation. In Wollstonecraft's A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, which is considered a milestone in the history of feminism, for the first time a woman writes about the condition of women with complete awareness that a change in the role women have in society cannot depend on good personal relations between the sexes, but rather on the social, educational, and political rights that women must be given. At about mid-century, things began to change. Some women tried hard to gain access to colleges and professions. The most famous was Florence Nightingale, 1820–1910, who in the 1850s found family life pointless and, against her parents' advice, left home to begin a career in nursing and hospital administration. During the Crimean War, she organized camp hospitals so efficiently that the mortality rate fell from 45% to 20%. She became a legendary figure, and her work had a great influence on the foundation of the Red Cross in Geneva in 1864. On the social side, women were also very active and began to organize themselves. The first petitions to Parliament asking for women's suffrage date back to the 1840s, but women didn't get the vote until 1918. Another fundamental step was the opening of colleges for women, Queen's College for Women in 1848 and Bedford College in 1849. By the end of Victoria's reign, the situation had improved. Women could study and take a degree at 12 university colleges, and study but not take a degree at Oxford and Cambridge. Under the influence of his wife, the philosopher and economist John Stuart Mill had spoken in favor of female emancipation. His The Subjection of Women, 1869, considered the role of the husband in history and compared it to that of a tyrant. In the end, the role of women in society remained as pressing an issue as industrialism or the theory of evolution. Public opinion was divided on which reforms should be allowed and which not. Queen Victoria, for instance, encouraged the founding of the Queen's College for Women in 1848, the first of its kind, but considered the vote for women mad folly. The different positions on the changing role of woman in the Victorian age are fully reflected in its literature and visual arts. At the beginning of the Victorian age, women were still represented either as sweet, passive creatures or as romantic heroines. The first type is present in the novels of Dickens, the second type in those of the Bronte sisters. The character of Catherine in Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte is the archetypal late romantic heroine, impulsive and prey to a passion that lasts beyond death. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte shows a heroine equally romantic but also with a strong independent mind. As such, she looks ahead to female figures of the later part of the century and will be dear to modern feminists. Another independent and typically female voice was that of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who exemplified the new woman consciousness both in her life and poetry. In her sonnets, for example, the speaker is a woman, and this implies not merely a change of sex, but also of point of view. For a more complete overview on the topic of women, you can also refer to, among other sources, the links in the description box, which are about the suffragettes, Jane Austen, and Virginia Woolf. You can also refer to the following videos from this channel: Boccaccio and Chaucer, the wife of Bath in particular, the Edwardian Age, Dystopian Fiction and Margaret Atwood, Literatures of the World in English.